Freaky Friday is intended for adults and is a show featuring adult conversations. Topics may vary, but are focused on human sexuality, fetish, and topics of intimate nature. Some may feel uncomfortable watching this show, and some topics may take you out of your comfort zone. We encourage everyone to stay and learn, as we hope this is an educational show, but stress that viewer discretion is advised. And if a topic makes you feel uncomfortable, please do not continue watching. Welcome to Freaky Friday. Welcome to Freaky Friday, where we dare to talk about taboo topics like fetish, bondage, sex, vibrators, and more. This isn't your dad's Friday night programming, but your mom loves it. Welcome to Freaky Friday, hosted by Mr. Anderson, who is the unboxable, uncanny, advocating creator known as the Indie Comics Devil, who will tempt you with his devilish tales of fetish, monsters, and more. Also the giver of free hugs and spends. Everyone watching this program will get virtual free hugs and spends. It's time to get on with the show. Welcome to Freaky Friday. Music provided by the YouTube Audio Library. Produced by Silent Partner. Song name, Tied Up. Warning and disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this live feed are those of the guests, speakers, and or hosts, and do not necessarily reflect the beliefs, official policies, ethics, or positions of the content providers, advertisers, additional hosts, and or guests, hosting sites, groups, or entities attached to this programming. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome, everyone, to Freaky Friday. Tonight's topic is going to be, let's fill out a BDSM survey together. I had actually given this to you guys a few weeks ago, and people absolutely loved it. I got some messages about it. I was asked to go in deeper depth, and instead of telling you to just buy the book, we're going to look at it together. Here's the deal. You want one issue, just $7 if you watch this program. Just tell me you tuned in to Freaky Friday. I'll mail it to you if you're in the continental United States, just $7. If you're outside the continental United States, we will talk about pricing, and we'll get you the book as best we can. If you want a second copy, just a second copy. If you're a couple, just $3 extra for an additional copy. So 2 for $10 in the continental U.S., so you guys can fill it out together. This is going to be what you guys are going to be getting. I'm going to be doing this. Welcome to July in the summer of freakiness, as we're getting back to playing and going to play spaces and all that. I definitely want people to play safe out there. You guys are seeing the printer copy, actually, of the BDSM survey, and we're going to go over it right now together. So let's do it page by page. We're going to go over it. This is just the acknowledgement of everyone who was involved with it, from Chuck, who edited it. I wrote it. Wendy Gale was a proofreader. We had the artist work from Satane Zilia, Damien Alves. We had Tamarita Chekovich, and it's been a while since I said her name. That's why I'm having trouble with it. Satane Zilia, by the way, has made that amazing post, the actual famous image that you guys can see. And I'm amazed I don't have it here, but you'll see it in the book, where she's up, Barbara's up on the cross, and Chris Matt, of course, adding his art to it. Special thanks to the West Florida community, the New York City Fetish community, Sir Victor, the New York City Tribe, Powder, Glitter Bunny, Mike B, Artist Pink Bun Bun, Madam Maze, and Bree74, their insight and guidance given in making this project a communal project that represents more than a single voice. Some kinksters not named due to the dangers of being outed. That's right. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, this summer, the outing that can happen. For now, we're going to start off the month positive. We're going to talk about positive stuff. Here it is. And for those who've never read Barbara Unleashed, Barbara Unleashed was the first issue, is a hybrid. There's beautiful images from Satane Zilia, and you're reading her blog. Her blog is called Fetish Babies, where she tries to educate people. It's this character's personal blog, and of course, she's called a fetish baby because she runs into the New York City fetish underground and gets herself in trouble. You have to buy issue number 1 to find out the whole story. But if you get this, you kind of get a feeling for it. So here we go. This explains the BDSM survey for you guys. So this is a way to understand what you're going to do. We give you a few notes. Red, yellow, green. Here's a perfect one for you. It's just like stoplights. Red means stop. Yellow means you can keep going, but check in. Green means just keep going, baby. I'm liking what you're doing. A quick note, a dom doms and tops. There's a lot to go over with consent and all that, and a lot to talk about. Do not lie, and understand that your mistakes stay on a submissive. A submissive wears the scars of your mistakes, so never forget that. And a note to subs, it's your job, too, to make sure that you're not putting yourself in potential danger. Doing things like this, reading things like this, understanding it. If a dom thinks you understand something because you're lying to them and saying, no, I know what you mean, and you don't, and no one knows you, the dom doesn't understand that you don't know what you're asking for, or you've never had it with someone who actually knows what they're doing, then you could get yourself in danger. So it's communication, guys. Communication. It's so important. All right, we're going to move on to our next page, which is the answers for the BDSM checklist explained. Is it your fetish? Yes, you want it done to you. Are you willing to try it? Is it negotiable? Maybe you'll try it. No, and hell no, don't ever try that with me. And it explains how to fill this out. And it's got a little bit of just, you know, it's a survey. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And here's your checklist. And this is your final note before you start it. Talks about the importance of communication and filling this out. Don't fake it. Do not engage in a relationship that will leave you or your playmate unfulfilled. In other words, don't act like you're into BDSM if you're not. It's one of the worst things you can do. It's almost a form of abuse to take it away. Understand, for a lot of us, our fetishes are entwined with our sexuality. To lie about it and then take it away, it is a form of abuse, in my opinion, because you're just doing it to try to change a person. And understand, you can't stop a person from having a fetish. Now, here's just basic information. This is good, especially if you're playing at events, and I've told events, and I'm going to extend this form to be allowed to be used by any dungeon, any party, any gathering. I think this is a great way for people to quickly negotiate. Not that quick negotiations are always the best, but some people want it. So if they want to do this, God bless, let them do what they're going to do. So this talks about medical conditions. It talks about your age, your years of experience. That's so important. Understanding how long someone has been doing something will really tell you whether or not you should trust them. Someone calls themselves a master or an expert at rigging, and they've been doing it 3 months. You might be like, what makes you a master or so proficient in this? And it's good to have those conversations. It doesn't mean you can't trust the person. It just begins a conversation. You can understand this. Emergency contact, very important. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next page here. This is your sexual checklist. These are the things that you want done to you, possibly during play. Not all play happens in public, so some of this can happen while you're in your privacy of your own home. And that, of course, allows for other things. And use of birth control, condoms, and I put should be used. And there are little notes at the end of every page just to keep you informed. Here's the bondage checklist of all the different ties you want. Now, remember, you should be filling out the deeper survey when you can Google these things. If I put every image in here, first off, we'd spend a lot of money, and this would not be an inexpensive book to produce because we'd have to pay someone to do all this art. But on top of it, the book would be like 100 pages. There's just so much in there. So you get to look that up. You can even write unique ideas if you've had a fantasy and something you want that's so important. The dungeon checklist allows you to talk about all the different dungeon equipment you might encounter. And again, these are good things to look up. If you've never been to a dungeon and you're planning to go to one, look up these things and see what they are. So if someone says you want to try something, you have an understanding of it. And then again, if there's a piece of equipment you've seen online or you're interested in, write down right there. And this is a great way for you guys to talk about it. An equipment checklist. So these are things that you could actually simply buy a lot of these things for home and play at home, including clothespins, collars, duct tape, elbow harnesses, handcuffs, a hood, a hog tie bar, a hood, impact tools. All these things are easy to get for you to have at home. And again, you can write something in if you want it. Here are the tools of pain. So these are very specific to the tools you want to be used on you for pain. And we even talk about pain levels. There's the whips. Gives you the ability to explain yourself. Edge play. So quickly, edge play is when it pushes the limits. These take things from safe that are basically safe. You'll bruise. The risk is very low to higher risks, including playing with electricity, cupping, branding, fire play, which you can get burnt. Ice can even cause certain problems to happen in certain regions of your body. Water, Sensory play can trigger people and actually have people have PTSD problems, believe it or not, and other things like blood play, buried alive, constrictive painful bondage. All these things can be very dangerous, and you should talk about them and understand there's an inherent danger behind them. Then the breath play checklist, and again, breath play is considered edge play and is inherently dangerous and can lead to serious medical conditions. Gags are also sensory play, so not understanding that a gag is also part of breath play and sensory play is dangerous. Understand when you gag someone, they're going to have a little bit of trouble breathing. They have a gag in their mouth. Most people use gags and don't consider them edge play, but it really is edge play, and you need to be understanding of that. Role play checklist. If you want to role play, it gives you different ideas, and again at the bottom here, it allows you guys to talk about different things you want to try. And here are types of scenes. So if you're role playing and you want to try a different type of kind of role play with each other, it even gives you ideas if you need them to try. Then we have body stimulation. What parts of your body do you want what done to? Again, this is a very thorough BDSM survey. And I found that when I was filling it out, you start to become very honest, and you stop thinking about it because you're just filling it out, and you get into a rhythm. So the way I've kind of done it is deliberate, because the stuff in the very beginning you kind of really want to think about, and then you want to go into auto drive and just answer very honestly. And then the body stimulation, grab, bite, pain stimulation right here. And then one of the things I found very useful and important for a BDSM survey would be more understanding of things. So I actually spent some time, and there are new stories in here from Barbara herself, including a dream she has. So that was new, and that was released in, believe it or not, late 2019. It was really a 2020 book, and you know all how 2020 went. And here are some mistakes, learn from her mistakes. Safe words, guys. Pick safe words, use safe words. Make sure to see negotiation. Make sure to understand limits. Never allow yourself to be gagged by someone you're new to playing with. They can, will, and might take advantage of it. Especially if you're in public. I mean, if you're in private, you still have the ability to scream for help if you're not gagged. So keep that in mind. BDSM can be dangerous, and some people do dangerous things with it. And here's the red light, green light. It explains how to use it, implement it into your play so you guys can play safely. And here's about safe words and safe actions. A safe action is something you can do while you're bound and gagged. Put a thumb up, put a middle finger up, something like that. I would not suggest the middle finger because sometimes that can go into play, and the back and forth might be interfered with, not realizing that in that moment it wasn't play. Training mentor mode, that's something I worded away, and it's a way for you guys to play, especially with someone new. Consent, understanding what consent is. In our culture, I wrote this before consent really got so big. I wrote this years ago, and now even more so. I think that the vanilla culture needs to just take a BDSM class about consent. I put as much in as I can. Consent's not that hard, but I put as much information as I can. This is negotiation form for instructions for being able to negotiate, and it gives you all the different things and ways to communicate with each other. And here's an actual negotiation form that you guys can fill out. See, up top, that was a different type of form. That was a quicker play. This is a negotiation form for you that gets a little more in-depth, a little more thorough, and you guys can get really into it and talk about what you actually want to happen during the play scene, the play scene, or the play time, or the session, whatever you want to call it. The scene is the more popular one. Make sure you guys are filling this out and giving the emergency contacts. And here are some other things that go along with that form. So as you can see, this is very in-depth because I want people to be playing in a safe and sane way. And what do I mean by safe and sane? Look at all the damage areas. There are things that can hurt you. And we go into it. We talk about different issues that can happen. We even give you guys terms of play. That's right. I wanted to make sure that you guys knew some terms of play. I wanted you to understand what your BDSM dynamic is. And we went into the BDSM dynamic. And knowing what words to add isn't easy. So we went over some words, and we asked you guys to send us ideas of words you wanted. And here are some words and terms that you guys should be aware about. So safe, sane, consensual, SSC, is one of the more common ones that are out there that help people understand that you need to safely play, make sane decisions, and everything needs to be consensual. Now, there is consensual play. I do not suggest that no matter how much you think you negotiated it, you can't always understand what might go wrong. This is just a quick list of things that I think you should actually own, and on the back you have notes. So there's so much more information. This is quickly going over it in 15 minutes. You have more complicated questions, please feel free to ask them. Send us an email, fetishbabies@yahoo.com, and I will answer them on a future program. But until then, if you want the book, again, we'll send you a book, mailed to your house, continental US, for $7, $10 for two of the books. If you want the whole package, just inquire, reach out to me, Mr. Anderson, on my site. Just go to chainlinks.site. I'm easy to find. And if you want the digital, just 99 cents. And you guys can check out the digital version. The only thing I ask with the digital is not to share it with anyone else. And that's it. That's this week's Fetish Friday. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll be back all month. We'll be back during the month with our checking out fetish news again. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be talking about free hugs and spanks. We're going to talk about me getting back on the road. There will be videos which will be canned because I'll actually be doing my sexual representation and diversity in comics panel right when this show goes live one of the Fridays. So I can't wait to meet you all on the road and with the videos. That's it. We're over 15 minutes, so it's time for me to go. This has been Fetish Friday, and my name is Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson is the unboxable advocating creator known as the indie comics devil who will tempt you with his devilish tales of fetish, monsters, and more. He is the giver of free hugs and spanks, and he is a partner in Continual Comics. Check out everything Anderson at chainlinks.site.